ads in English on the internet have better response. Why? People want English-speaking partners. They want English-speaking grooms or brides. So that is one area. So I tell you, all of you youngsters, master English. That's one rule. It's not just that the internet is growing. You know, newspaper circulation has also been booming in Asia. Something like 2.3 billion, not million, billion people depend on newspapers, on the printed word for information. That's about 20% more than people who rely on the internet. In India and China, newspapers have been growing at a rate of about 16% a year. That's roughly the amount of decline in the United States and in Europe. And if you take 100 largest selling newspapers in the world, you would imagine that it's all located in the West? No, it's all in Asia, especially in India and in China. 75 of the 100 largest circulated newspapers are located here, and we are the future. Of course, we have an advantage over China in that we had a colonial past. You know, the English has been with us for so many years. 200 years ago, there was this eccentric Irishman called James Augustus Hickey, who started India's first newspaper, the Bengal Gazette. And since then, several newspapers have come, both in English and in the regional languages. But by and large, it was a fallout of our freedom struggle. And since freedom, since independence, all of them have also been actively involved in numerous movements for social change. Today we have a very vibrant and a healthy press, and the diversity and pluralism of the media in a way reflects the heterogeneity of India, you know, the regional, linguistic, and the socio-economic heterogeneity. And the public that tracks news through the media, it's a very good development. And you have something like 350 million people today who are getting their news, getting their information from newspapers and periodicals. Half of them are in rural areas. Similarly, television too has made very rapid strides in the past 20 years especially. We've had it for about 60, 65 years. But in the past 20 years, it's really exploded. And today you have something like 600 television stations beaming programs around the clock. 100 of them just dealing with news. This round-the-clock news, this 24/7 coverage also puts immense pressure on the way they gather the news, their values, their ethical standards. There's often this charge of sensationalization and trivialization of news. I think to a large extent it's also valid. In India, because of the low literacy and even the lower levels of knowledge of English, this has kind of resulted in a structured ceiling. But when it comes to national news and international news, there is always this yearning. We need to know what's going on in the world. And where did they turn to? There have been numerous studies on this. They all turn to the English media. Because by and large, the regional media have been ultra regional. They're very hyper-local in their coverage. The movers and shakers in India all depend on the English media, the biggies, you know, I mean, whether it's the Hindu, the Times of India, the Hindustan Times, Telegraph, Deccan Chronicle. These are all very big circulation papers. Together they sell about 20 million, and the readership is about 80 million. All the important people, they all get their stuff through the English media, whether you like it or not. They, in a way, set the agenda for the rest of the country. Of course, it creates problems because you have to have some kind of an analysis. What is their value? What is their cultural practices? What is their ethics? Which again means the government also gets into it. What kind of a regulatory mechanism do we need to adopt? What kind of a governing mechanism do we need to adopt? And how do you support the integrity and the freedom of the media and yet encourage high ethical standards? These are some things that you might probably want to discuss in your deliberations out here. One of the things we look to you for guidance is to bring us back periodically to our focus, our dharma. What is the dharma of the press? Public education for it. Whether it's print, whether it's television, whether it's the digital media, we all have a very major role to play in educating the public. How do you harness this particular technology? How do you use YouTube, for instance, to educate people? You have millions of people listening to the Khan lectures on mathematics. You have a lot of videos on English. MIT has put its whole coursework on the thing. Anybody sitting anywhere in the world can access MIT. Someone sitting in Guwahati can access what's going on here in Banariyaman. That is the beauty of the social media. We also want you to periodically remind us that the media also has to provide a forum for analysis, for disputation, for criticism, for comment. These are things that we tend to forget because we tend to focus on agenda building. Whether it's the recent Lokpal bill, the relentless coverage and the relentless pressure that the media put on getting the government to come clean on the 2G spectrum, the Adarsh Housing Society scam, the Commonwealth Games scam, all these things, or the WikiLeaks cables, they've brought down many governments to their knees. All these things are some of the functions of the media. But yet, everything is not hunky-dory with the media. The recent scams in the United Kingdom involving the News of the World newspaper, which, the phone hacking scandals, why our own paid news scandals, especially in Maharashtra, all these things have tarnished the image of the media. And we need to evolve suitable mechanisms to prevent these things from happening. There's also been a distinct dichotomy in the way newspapers have been looking at events, the English media versus the language media, since we're talking about English. An instance that comes to my mind readily is the Gujarat riots. How did the English media report this? How did the regional media report this? The English media, by and large, were taking a nationalistic approach, a pro-minority and an anti-Modi stance, whereas the regional media had swallowed the line of Modi hook, line and sinker. The resource-rich English media today faces a challenge. How do you retain the gains that you made the past 60 years? And how to hold on to that, especially against the onslaught of television and internet, and especially blogging. I notice a lot of you people have been blogging, and today much of the blogs are all in English, and the blogs are again giving newspapers and television a run for their money. Citizen journalism has increased tremendously. People, you have a mobile, you send a picture to the television station, within seconds of, anything happening, the pictures are already on screen. This is very good. A lot of these things have also helped solve crime. Take the case of the London bombings. A lot of the pictures were shot by people walking on the street. They had cell phone cameras, they were taking pictures and filing it to all the television stations. Blogging revolution, in a way, is also relevant to you people since you're dealing in English, because much of this is English-centric. And this has also helped increase writing and publishing. A lot of people have gotten into literature, writing their own stories. Whether it's chick lit, whether it's graphic novels, whether it's fiction, all these things are booming. Everyone has a book inside them, and the internet, in a way, has helped to bring it out. English has also been helping the country develop economically, because we are recognized as as a country with a very large population of English speakers, and that in a way has helped attract a lot of foreign direct investment and spurred growth. Advertisers naturally tend to focus on the rich, say the IT sector for instance, and target their advertisements towards them. Wherever you turn, what do you see? You see a BPO, you see a call center, and that again means a lot of institutes are mushrooming on every street, trying to teach you English, and they promise you to make you fluent in English language in 6 months or less. Okay, very good, and that's where you people can also come up with some kind of a module. How do your director was talking of guerrilla tactics, guerrilla learning. How do you How do you make somebody fluent in a language in 6 months or less, or even, in 1 month? If you can come up with that, you've got a winner. But this relentless pursuit of advertising and advertising money also results in the boundaries between news and publicity getting blurred. More and more newspapers and television stations are finding that the marketing departments have taken over the editorial departments. And they have a different set of values, a different set of ethical standards, a different set of guidelines. And this is something that the editorial departments have been trying to resist with considerable success. There's need for better accountability, better transparency, better standards. And these are some things that I hope you will deliberate during this conference. And I wish you all the best in all your deliberations. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Gratitude of any form has a lasting impression. As a token of love and gratitude, we now request our respected director, Dr. S.K. Sundaraman, to present the shawl and the memento to our esteemed chief guest, Mr. G. Krishnan, journalist and consultant, and to our guest of honor, Mr. T.K. Arunachalam.
Thank you, sirs. May we now request Professor V.G. Chandramohan, Congress Secretary, ICEG 2011, to deliver the oath of thanks.
If my mind can conceive it, and if my heart can believe it, I know that I can do it. Good morning, everybody. The chief guest of today's function, Mr. G. Krishnan, journalist and editorial consultant. The guest of honor, Mr. T.K. Arunachalam, regional manager, South Asia, University of Cambridge ESL Examinations, India. Our beloved director, Dr. S.K. Sundararaman, our honorary advisor to the chairman, Dr. M.P. Vijayakumar, the chief executive, Dr. A.M. Nadarajan, the principal, Dr. A. Shanmugam, our distinguished plenary speakers, Dr. Russell Arendt, Professor of English, Rochester Institute of Technology, Dubai, Professor Karunagaran, visiting professor, University of Malaya, Mrs. and Mr. Krishnasamy, Central Institute of English and Foreign Languages, Hyderabad, Dr. Sukhdev Singh, Professor of English, Gurudev University, Dr. S. Danavel, Anna University, Chennai, the delegates from across the country and abroad, friends from media and press, teaching fraternity, and dear students. I am immensely pleased and deeply honored to propose the vote of thanks on this happy occasion. If the ICEG has come a long way from where it all began, it was well conceived by Dr. Prakasham, and it was equally believed by the sponsoring institutions and the practicing teachers, and that's how we have done it. And our special thanks are due to Mr. G. Krishnan, who has come all the way from Palakkad, Kerala, to prove the additional point that there is no problem in sharing resources. We would like to thank our Congress partner, University of Cambridge ESL Examinations, India, represented by Mr. T.K. Arunachalam. I wish to thank the chairman and the director who believe that the true measure of success of an institution lies in the meaningful dialogue that takes place or that should take place in this citadel of learning. My sincere thanks to the honorary advisor who is spearheading the concept of creative learning methodology at all levels. My sincere thanks to the Chief Executive and the Principal for their unstinted support to the cause of the Congress. I wish to place on record my deep sense of gratitude to the plenary speakers who have contributed towards the success of the Congress and the learned delegates who have made it happen. My thanks are also due to our benevolent sponsors, Cambridge University Press, Oxford University Press, Young India Films, who have supported us. I would like to thank the staff who painstakingly executed it. I must mention our deep sense of gratitude to the officers and employees of the Bannariamman group of institutions for all their logistic support. Organizing this Congress from conception to execution in less than 3 months, getting 275 abstracts with over 200 accepted papers is no small feat. I think you will all agree. And we all owe it to you, without whom and without whose support ICEG would not have gone from strength to strength. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. It is the love of country that has lighted and that keeps glowing the holy fire of patriotism. With this profound patriotism, let us all rise for the national anthem. Thank you all.
Again. And so the observed cultural differences with these letters as compared with Bhatti in 1993 had to